This gives me the opportunity to say an opening remark like, "Hi, everybody, this is Bob Ost. Welcome to the TRU Meet the Coaches." Um, I, you can probably use speaker view unless you want to see everybody in the room. As long as you can see me, um, it's fine. I leave it up to you, whatever you prefer. So this is Meet the Coaches. It's part of something that evolved as we started doing this audition event every year. We started it at least 15 or 16 years ago. I can't remember how long ago it is now. And we're a producers organization. We are here to help producers and others also to understand the business side of theater. So when somebody came to me and said, "Why don't we do auditions for actors?" I said, "Well, I don't know about that for TRU. I'm not sure if it's part of our mission. How does that fit into our mission?" And we had a good year's worth of discussion about it. The person who came to me was Gail Reiser, who's also going to be involved in helping me run this on the 22nd and 23rd. And Nicole, there's a gal named Nicole who I can't remember her last name right now. I spent a lot of time soul searching about it, and I realized that producers, one of the resources producers absolutely and clearly need is actors. And so I started to think of this event as a benefit for producers. This is an opportunity for them, without having to set up their own auditions, to actually see a wide range of talent over 2 days. And once I got that, once I understood that, once I figured that out, it seemed like it was a really worthwhile program to start. And we started it many, many years ago. And the first year I didn't know about timing. So first year they just went on and on and on. And it was like, oh, got to fix that. And over the years, we went from 3 minute audition spot to 2 minutes, because casting directors and theater companies, a lot of them, came to me and said, we don't need to hear that much if we're seeing 200 people in 2 days. The truth of the matter is, the dirty little secret that some of you know anyway is most people know if they can use you in 20 seconds. So 2 minutes, this is the defensive response to all of the actors who say, 2 minutes, how can I do an audition in 2 minutes? Trust me, you can. You have to think strategically about it. You have to make sure that you're shaping a monologue in a way that communicates a lot of different aspects of what you can do. But it can be done, and most people in the room will know whether they love you in the first 10 to 20 seconds. They will get it right away. That said, I want to also mention the fact that your audition starts when you introduce yourself. So don't forget about that. When you come on screen, you're going to introduce yourself, and you're going to be you. You're going to be. We want to see a moment of you before you go into character. So why two contrasting pieces? I get this question a lot. Because you have 50 to 60, or this year it may be more, I don't know yet, it may be a lot more, people in the room who all have different needs, different aesthetics. They all need to hear different things from you. So you increase the possibility that you're going to be right for somebody, or that somebody's going to see you as being right for what they need, if you do two different pieces. So I urge people to please do two contrasting pieces. I think it's to your advantage. By the way, while I'm talking, if you want to put questions into the chat, I will keep looking there, and Jeslie will also look for me, and she's gonna give me a poke or something if she says. You can just say to me, Jeslie, somebody has a question. Okay. So we've been developing this slowly over the years, over this past 16 years, and we've come to the conclusion that the 2-minute audition is pretty much, it's an industry standard, and it's something that I think gives you enough time and enough presence to to sell yourself. I think you all know from if you've read your instructions, the long 10-page thing that we give you about how to do this audition. We want you to slate both pieces before you start. So slate them in the order in which you're going to be doing them. When you change from one piece to another, give us a beat. I've sat there in a room and got to the end of it. I'm going, oh, what happened to the second piece? And I'm going, oh, that must have been the second piece. So give us a clue. Give us a clue when you switch, just so we know. We will have somebody timing this. I think it might be Jessie. I'm not sure. And we are going to have a conversation. Tamara, whoever's timing, and myself are going to have a conversation with the person that's timing. We are going to take into consideration tech problems. Just so you know, we know that something can happen. We will stop the clock and give you a chance to get back. In this situation, in the case where possibly you lose your Wi-Fi connection, or if that should happen, we haven't decided on a policy, but we'll definitely have a policy that allows you to come back and audition if you can, once you get your Wi-Fi up and running again. We've been living in Zoom for a year now, so we're kind of aware of the stuff that happens. So just know that. Material. This may be obvious to some of you and may not to others. So I'm going to say it for the people that haven't thought about it. If you have something that you've done in a show, or if it's even a monologue from a show that you're really familiar with, you may not be doing it the same way in this context. Remember that we're just hearing a minute out of context of an entire show. It's your job to find, and your coach's job as well, to find the sense within that 1 minute that tells us enough so that we really can make sense of the monologue. We know who you are, what you want, what you're trying to achieve, and maybe even have a hint of who you're talking to. Speaking of which, focus. You can, in a live audition, you're often told to focus to the balcony. You're told to focus up. You're also given a spot usually, and we always have an X on the floor, so you know that you're in the right place and you know that you're in the right lighting. You have the choice of focusing straight ahead, or you can pick a focal point if there's a character over to one side or a character over to another side. Avoid doing profile. Because we want to be able to see you, okay? I think your coaches will tell you this as well. And if they have something else, if somebody disagrees with me, it happens. People might see things differently, but I'm pretty sure that's good advice to give you. Remember that if you're talking to the audience is not your screen. The audience is that green light, which I have a tendency to talk down because I talk to everybody, but if you really want to look like you're focusing on the room, you have to find the green light and make sure you know that you're talking to the green light. I'm getting into the weeds with the tech right now that I don't have to, because the other thing I want to let you know is we're going to have at least 3 tech sessions, with one with Tamara, one with John Lant, who is also part of Right Act Rep. Oh, I started to say this earlier. Big thank you to Right Act Repertory for helping us manage this and sort of, they're going to be actually hosting it for us because they got better tech than I have. So thank you, Right Act. Thank you, Tamara. Right Act Rep, by the way, is going to be attending as well as producers, and they have a company on the East Coast and the West Coast for those of you who are in California. So as soon as Tamara, Eben Senholt, and John Lant give me a schedule, I'm going to send out a schedule of tech rehearsals for all of you, and you'll go to one of them. And the things that you're going to think about in advance, and most of you are thinking about it already, is what kind of background you're going to use. We're going to be you have almost all been told that you need to use a neutral background. You don't want to distract from your performance. You want to have a neutral background. They're going to talk to you about the possibility of green screen or not green screen. You're going to talk about ring light. We're going to talk about framing yourself, being aware of where you are in the frame. I will tell you that we've had some discussions about it, and we do think that if possible and when it's possible, not a full body, but at least a standing audition would be preferable. Let's just say preferable, not obligatory, but preferable, which means that you have to know how to place your camera and yourself so that you're visible and so that you know that your body. We're not thinking head to toe, but we're thinking at least from the waist up. Those are choices that you're going to make, though. And for a contrast, maybe you do want to sit, maybe you do want to be a talking head for the second piece that you're doing. You'll hear some of this from the coaches when the coaches start presenting, I think, because they may talk about their ideas of what makes good audition material. But do use your coach as a sounding board for what shows you off best. People ask me whether they should do a classical mon. Oh, Jeslie, somebody has a question?
Yeah, we have a few questions. Do you want me to read them out to you, or?
Yeah, read them out. Let's go. We'll do
Okay.
it.
We have one that says, do we have the option of using our own track instead of an accompanist?
You have the option, but I'm asking not to use a karaoke. You can use a karaoke. Who do I have to turn off? I've got to turn somebody's off. Somebody's found it on one try. Found it on one try. Okay, so the reason why this may be personal, and you may hear other opinions about it. I don't like a karaoke fully orchestrated track. But you can absolutely use a piano track. I know that there's a couple software apps that do that. And the reason why I don't is because, believe it or not, even though it may give an overall impression of being, like really wow, sometimes you get lost in it. I think it's easier for the room to focus on you and your interpretation. For an audition like this, by the way, musically, you're showing off your voice, yes, but you're also showing off your ability to act a song. So we want to be able to focus on the journey, the dramatic journey you're going through in that song that you're singing. Does that answer that? Did that seem like enough? The answer was yes, I guess. So, but I said it in 100 words or more.
We do have more questions pertaining to that. Same one. Someone said, I'll be using a track for my musical audition. Is that okay? And then they said, I have a piano track only, so that is very helpful if I can do that. And then we have another one. Does a live accompanist have trouble syncing up with the singer?
Okay, there will be no live accompanist. That's not possible. There are two words that you may have heard: latency and lag. There are two different reasons why a pianist playing live while you're singing is more than likely not going to sync up. So what we're telling you is that we want you to create a track in advance, and you're going to play that track. You're going to work it out with an accompanist, or you're going to work it out with the app that you're using that gives you a piano accompaniment, and you're going to have that all set in your computer so that you can push a button and you can play it.
So you do need a track, but he's suggesting a piano track specifically, but you will need that. And at the tech session, you can bring it and we'll see how it goes with you. We'll play it with you. So you can.
Okay, thanks. That makes a lot of sense. I was
confused. There you go. No, that's okay. That's what I sensed. So that's why I hopped in.
Okay, so I can say it better next time. What did I say that was confusing?
I think I was just confused about the difference between I think I was confused. I understood that like a piano would be better than a full orchestration, but I think I was confused between like what we meant by accompanist versus a track. But I'm on board now.
Okay, and Tamara, actually, I'm going to ask you to speak to this as well. Um, how is it? Is there any possibility if they're using a track, since Zoom only recognizes one voice at a time? Will there be any confusion on Zoom?
So we will go through, if you go to one of the tech, that's what we're working on right now, is to put together a tip sheet, because there are some ways to trick Zoom a little bit and to make things better for singers so that it hears you the way that you want to be heard, as opposed to the way Zoom kind of compresses everybody to deal with the pure volume. So we're going to do some little magic trickery behind the scenes to make you sound your best, and we'll tell you exactly which settings to go through to be like, I'm singing and I want Zoom to hear me as a singer, as opposed to if you're speaking, and what Zoom normally does, because Zoom has the capability to do a lot more than we're allowed to do with it, because it compresses our video and compresses our sound. So we have some tricks and tips that we can help you with.
I'm going to take a moment, actually. I want to ask the person that's on their iPhone to identify themselves. I will name your frame if you can't do it. So I just want to know who you are so that we know who we're talking to. iPhone person, can you unmute yourself? I'm going to ask you to unmute. Okay, can you tell
Ford?
Debbie?
Yes,
Debbie, and what's the last name?
Ford,
Debbie Ford. Are you musical or non-musical?
non-musical.
Okay, you are now renamed. Okay, so Jessie, also keep an eye out for anybody who's not named, and just send them a private message, and we can deal with that. So okay, so that's the tech issue. I see Jay actually has a hand raised. So Jay.
Well, just wanted to bring up, in case people were wondering, do we have resources for people to acquire tracks if they need? People that we can refer them to record tracks for them?
That's who's coming today.
That's who's coming today. There you go.
Yeah. We have, I think, 3, possibly 4 accompanists coming. I'm not sure whether all 4 RSVP'd or not. Anyway. Let's see what other questions are in here. Jessie, you want to read me questions?
Yes, we have so many. So Tamara asked, is our slate included in the 2 minutes?
No.
And
that was easy.
Someone said, I was going to ask about calling time in a digital environment. Is there a procedure in place?
We're talking about that. We're going to work this out with Tamara again. My assumption is that Jessie, we're back to the thing about Zoom not being able to recognize two voices at the same time. Ideally, I would like it to be the possibility of somebody actually saying time, and maybe having to repeat it over you. But there may be a better way. I don't want to rely on a chat message. I don't know I'm not sure. Tamara, what are you thinking?
I've got a couple things that I'm thinking. One would be the time, because that may just be the easiest, but we're looking at some other options too. So we will let you know in plenty of time once we've had a chance to test some of our choices.
Yeah, this is all new, guys. This is all new. You're all pioneers.
I make my team go into a Zoom room and we play around and see what happens. That's basically what happens here.
Okay. Next.
I believe you already addressed this one about addressing the camera or like the room.
Yeah, that's your choice, and you work that out probably with your coach. I just want to say, I mean, since this is Meet the Coaches, we don't randomly do this event because we want to find something fun to do on a Sunday afternoon. We do it because with all my heart and all our heart and soul, we have seen it again and again. We believe that the outside eye will shape your performance in a way that will make a huge difference. Just a huge difference. We actually have people who have done this every year, and I've seen people come in who hadn't been coached and come back the next year with a coach, and it's like, oh my God, where was this last year? So we just really believe in the importance of a coach. Next. I just answered a question that wasn't asked.
Someone was asking about what if you pass the minute for just a few seconds, but I'm not sure if that will.
Okay, the instructions to Jessley are going to be, she doesn't know this yet. The instructions are going to be, if somebody is completing a sentence or completing a thought, you can let them complete the sentence or the thought before calling time.
Okay.
Also, like I said before, we're gonna hold, if you're having any technical difficulties, we're gonna pause the stopwatch, and then we're gonna click it when you're back up. So we're gonna do everything we can to make this a fair process and give you every opportunity. Next.
Okay, so someone's asking, what opinions about Shakespeare or other classical material for the auditions?
I knew there was something I was starting to say. First of all, we say two contrasting pieces, and of course, if you're going to do two contrasting pieces, one of the thoughts is always going to be, well, maybe one of them should be classic. We do have a number of companies that are coming that specifically do classic work, and one of them is Pulse Ensemble, the Harlem Shakespeare Repertory. I forget the name of it. There's probably 5 or 6 of them actually. Only do a classical monologue if you're good at it. That's really the answer. And again, let your coach know when you're working on your Shakespeare monologue that you just say, is this good enough to do in front of the room? And let your coach know that you want them to be honest, because you might do better with two contrasting, but this is a dramatic and a comic monologue that are contemporary, that are in a vernacular that you can more easily speak in. But if you're great with iambic pentameter and Shakespeare, show it off. Show off what shows you off best. And I mean, if that doesn't answer it for some of you, just raise your hand, or if you want further clarification. Next.
Okay, someone was asking, and the tech sessions are the ones we sign up for in 15-minute slots later, correct?
Say that again. I didn't understand.
Someone was asking about the tech sessions and if they're the ones that they sign up for in 15-minute slots at a later time.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about the 15.
There was like an email, right, where we sign up for slots.
Oh, well, yeah, that was just, I don't know how long they're going to be.
Okay.
There was the 15-minute that got me. It's like, I'm not sure. I was being minimal in case Tamara wanted, it'll be more than 15 minutes.
No, I mean, and I don't care how long. I was just making sure I didn't miss something. Like, those are later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. We'll end up having like windows of time. So they'll be like 3 to 5 on this Saturday or on this Tuesday or whatever our availability is. And then we're still deciding if we want to do it more specifically, because we're able to do a lot of people at a time, and then split off into groups if we need to do someone one-on-one.
I mean, the other option was going to be to have 200 slots, and
Right.
Tamara, John, and Eben said, no.
Because most people's questions can be answered in a group, and then we have tech people who can pull you aside and do your one-on-one thing too. So we've been doing this kind of thing for a while now, so we're pretty efficient at getting people through. We don't want to waste your time either. We want you to get the best out of it that you need, and then you can go on your merry way and enjoy your life.
More? Next question?
Yeah, so someone's asking, when doing the monologue, if doing the natural pauses, trying to sound as realistic as possible, if you pass the 1-minute frame for a few seconds, is that a problem?
You have a maximum of 2 minutes. So you said the 1-minute mark. So I mean, I think you're thinking in terms of each of the monologues. This is a choice that you have to make. You have to figure out what you can do in 2 minutes. I would say you have to figure out what you can do in 1 minute and 55 seconds, because invariably the 2 minutes isn't going to happen when you're actually doing it. It's up to you to do pauses or not pauses. I think that actually doing a monologue where you take the time to get the most out of it, to really get the core of it, the gist of it, is fine as long as you realize that those pauses are part of your 2 minutes. But if they're genuine acting pauses that tell us something about you as an actor, do them. Do not race through a monologue because you've got 2 minutes. That's not a good idea. Pick material that you can do in 2 minutes. I know, and for some of you, it's like, really? It is doable. It is doable. And the other thing I have to tell you, by the way, if you get called on time, there's no shame in that. That's fine. Nobody in the room thinks any less of you because you didn't get your whole thing in 2 minutes. What does create a problem is if you don't listen, if you don't listen when time is called, and then you continue. I mean, we've had like mimed fights with people on stage in the past where they just don't want to leave. And what do you think the message is that the people in the room get? I mean, what they're getting is not that you're an amazing artist who is so committed to your art that you can't leave until you get every piece of what you prepared out there. What they're getting is that you don't listen to directions and that you're hard to work with. So just be gracious. Smile. Don't get flustered. Smile and go, oh, okay, thank you. That's all you need to do, and everybody's with you. And remember, the first 20 seconds, we got it in the first 20 seconds probably. I know that there's sometimes you plan a 1 minute piece with a big surprise at the end, a big something that happens at the end that just gets us. You've probably got us already. And if that doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. Okay? Just 2 minutes. That's all. 2 minutes.
My experience in these is that everybody in that room is looking for something and they want you to be successful, and no one who does this particular event does not care about actors. So, do bring your best work, but if you get called for time, you get called for time. Like, we get that everybody knows what time is like. So, but just, practice ahead of time, but know that everybody in that room really wants to find what they're looking for, and they want it to be you.
And by the way, I forgot the most important thing in my opening remarks. When we created this audition event and we finally decided to do it, we had a mission statement, and our mission statement was treat the actors like gold. So we mean that, and we've done that. We've stuck to that every year. If you're not treated well, somebody will pay for that. Make sure somebody pays. You are the reason why we do this. We also do it as a benefit for the producers, but we're trying to make this an experience that is a positive one, an exciting one for you. Was that something else I was going to say? What was it you were saying to them, Tamara? Because I wanted to jump off of that.
Just that, like, everybody that does this event actually really cares about actors, and we want you to do your best work.
I know what it was. I just wanted to say that one of my best friends in the entire world was a casting director named Barry Moss. He was just one of my absolute best friends in the world, and he used to say to actors, "You're there to solve a problem." So remember that you're not. There's no pick me, want me. There's a problem already that the casting person has. You come on that stage and you become the solution. So just remember that you're solving problems for somebody. You're helping them. Next question.
Yeah, Jay wants to answer a question about monologue changes on the casting sheets.
Jay?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jay Chacon, the staff administrator for TRU. You all have received many emails from me over time. um, so one of my big projects with the audition event is putting the casting sheet together. And people are asking, you know, can I change my monologue? You can change your monologue whenever you need. You send me the information. Just keep in mind, after we get the schedule set, that's when I start putting the casting sheet together. I can always change it, but as we get closer and closer to the audition day, it may get harder to actually do that. So yeah, but before the May 12th, you know, if you're like, oh, I'm going to change it, fine, send it to me. Um, just be a little wary of timing after that. Bob, do you want to add anything to that about changing pieces?
It's in your ballpark. So it's like whatever you say goes.
Yeah. And that said, I will be hounding you all down who have not sent me casting sheet info starting tomorrow.
Let me explain that to everybody. In the past, when we've done this event, we've asked actors to come with 60 headshots so that we could put together sets of headshots for every one of the people in the room. We've always been respectful in that all of the auditors have always been instructed to pass back headshots that they don't think they're going to be able to use. And we, I'm trying to think what we call them. We don't call them unwanted headshots. We had some term to try to neutralize
I think
the
it
whole
was
thing.
unneeded.
It was just a neutral
yeah.
neutral term. We don't make judgments about that. People either need you or they don't need you, and it's not a judgment necessarily of your talent. It's just whether you fit that particular need. So over the years, I heard a lot of squawking from actors who saying 60 headshots. Oh my God, I got to come with 60 headshots. So 2019, we decided to try something different. Instead of headshots, we put together casting books. Now, a couple pieces of this puzzle. Number one, we do need your headshot and resume sent to us because we're keeping folders in a Dropbox account, and we're keeping them separated by female musical, female non-musical, male musical, male non-musical, and juvenile and youth. So we have 5 folders for those. Producers who come in 2019, they got these casting books that basically had 6 actors per page with a thumbnail of your headshot and the information that we're asking you for. And that gave them a pretty quick look at what you are and who you are and whether there are things in there. Like if you're equity and they can't use equity, they know that it's not going to be you. So then the second step after the audition was over, they got links to the headshot folders in Dropbox. So anybody that they liked from the headshot book, they were able to go into the folders and find you and see your headshot, your full headshot, and see your full resume. So all of these things now are being adapted to this virtual, and it actually winds up being a great solution that we might not have thought of otherwise, which is basically how do you get your headshots to 60 people that are watching you? You're going to get them to them in the headshot books, so in the casting books. So that casting information that Jay asks for is really the one immediate connection the people in the room have to find out who you are and what, things about you that they need to know. So that's hugely important. They want to be able to see your headshot and resume fully if they're interested in you. So we need your headshot and resume in our Dropbox folder. So if you had any questions about why we need all this stuff, that's why we need all this stuff. Okay? So, oh my God, 38 new messages. Keep going, Chesley.
All right. So someone's asking, will we be timed in between pieces, for example, getting into character for the other piece?
Yes. Yes, that timing will count. We're not going to stop the stopwatch while you get into character. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, we start the timing when you start acting. So you're going to slate yourself. If you're going to do a Stanislavski looking around in the environment and getting a sense of the room and touching your screen and touching you're losing time, because we're gonna start timing you after you slate. So don't do a lot of that stuff. I don't mean to be putting it down. It has its place and it's very useful as an actor when you're preparing to go on stage. But when you're in something that's quick in 2 minutes, take a moment and then go into character and let us see you. That said, don't rush through anything, because rushing is not better to have planned for like a minute and 45 seconds, so that you don't have to rush anything. Okay. Does that raise any other questions?
Okay. So someone's asking, are the classical and Shakespeare companies going to be present during the musical auditions?
Yes. Well, we're going to ask them to be. One of the things that we always tell people is just because someone sings doesn't mean they can't act. And we're adamant about that. We have people who say, "Oh, I'm only going to come Saturday." And then I say to them, basically, you're going to miss some terrific. I would say to them, well, then you're going to miss the next Patti LuPone, because just because Patti LuPone sings doesn't mean that she's not amazing as an actress. So I can't speak for 60 companies. They're going to do what they do. We just give them advice. Next.
There's a lot of comments. I'm just sifting through it.
And yes, singing does equal acting. That's the other thing I said earlier. For all of you that are singers that are going to be singing, we want to hear the great notes. We want to hear the great voice. We also want to hear we want to see it being acted. We want to see your musical number have a beginning, middle, and an end. Every acting piece should have an arc. I think your coaches will tell you that.
Someone is asking, how much does coaching cost?
I haven't settled on all the coaches have said that they will be gentle in their pricing. They're going to charge you less than they would normally charge. But I don't think I have everybody's pricing. I have a few people who I know are going to be extremely reasonable. I don't even want to make a guess, because I'm going to be talking for people who I don't really know what they charge. If any of the coaches want to privately message me and tell me whether I could give them a range, that would be great. Waiting. No messages. Next. So I'm sorry to leave that up in the air, but basically, talk to the coach. You fall in love with the coach today. You want to work with that coach. Let them know where you are financially. I mean, we know that we've been through COVID. We know that people are having financial problems. We know that.
Okay. So someone's asking, do you prefer monologues from plays or movies?
Well, that's going to be a preference. Honestly, generally speaking, I think that monologues from plays work well. I've seen people do monologues from movies, and I've seen people do monologues from Netflix series. I mean, whatever shows you off best. But try to remember this: it's acting. So make sure that whatever you're doing as a monologue has an action, has something that you're trying to achieve. This may be personal, but I'm not one of the people that likes Spoon River anthology monologues, reminiscences, things that happened in the past, mood pieces. I don't think this is a place where you want to do a mood piece. I think this is a place where you want to be a character who wants something. And from the beginning, we see that you have an intention and that you're going after that intention. You're when you talk to the coaches, they may have different perspectives on it, but that's mine.
All right. Someone is asking, does headshot orientation matter?
Jay, when we file them in the folders and people open the headshots, will they open up? They'll open up horizontal if we file them horizontal, right?
They open up whichever way they come. So if it's longscape, if it's landscape, however it's sent, that's how it opens up.
For how actually, I will tell you this: for the headshot, the casting sheets where we're going to have thumbnails, it's usually easier for us to grab a thumbnail, a stamp from a vertical than from a horizontal, and this is after the fact. Just so you know, again, my opinion. I hate when headshots have the top of the head cut off. I hate it. I know there are reasons for it, and you do what you think is best. But some people, when we look at that, we just go, "Where's the top of their head?"
Also, one thing to consider with headshots and when it comes to the casting sheet and the thumbnails is, will your face crop down into a thumbnail? Obviously, if your head is nice and straight, we can crop this to a thumbnail. If you're at like this weird angle or whatever, suddenly that will expand the crop, and then we might end up having to cut your head off just to fit something into the thumbnail. So that's an important thing to consider actually when you're sending us a headshot.
And that's actually one of the reasons why I hate when the top of the head is cut off. Yeah, Jay's exactly right. Excuse me. A little bit of coffee, excuse me. Next.
Okay. I don't know if this might be a Jay question, but someone is asking, if we've gotten more jobs since submitting our resume, can we resend it so that it's fully updated for the audition?
Sorry, what was the question again?
They want to know whether we can switch out a newer resume if they send up a resume later. It's no problem. Yeah, we can switch it out. We'll take out the old one. We'll put in the new one.
Yeah. I did see a question on there about sending updated headshots the day of. Unfortunately, I won't be able to change a thumbnail on the casting sheet for all the auditors day of. Day before, maybe. But you know, up to that point, yeah, you can switch out your materials. That's not a problem. Resume, not a problem. Send it wherever, whenever. But headshot day of, that's not going to be possible, unfortunately.
Yeah, we will already have printed. It's probably not the day before. It's probably 2 days before, because the day before, we're probably going to be sending the casting books to all of the people that are coming to attend.
We'll keep your updated headshots for your file. That way, auditors, if they come in and look, they'll see your updated headshot.
Oh, timing! Everybody knows that we need you to check in early, and we need to make sure that everybody's in the order that you are in the headshot books. We're going to, I mean, it's a fallible system, but we're going to do our best to make sure. If for any reason you miss your time and you have to come in later, or if your Wi-Fi isn't working during your time, but you manage to get it up and running later, we will put you in a different time. We have ways of doing that. It may be a little confusing. Just know it may be a little confusing for the room, because the room has their books and they're looking and they're seeing this actor, that, actor A, B, C, D, E, F, and they're expecting to see you in that order. Yes. If something changes and you're not there, so they see A, B, C, they don't, D isn't there, then E and F, we'll live with it. We will live with it. But this is just to make sure you understand that it matters that you are there checking in advance of when your actual time is. We're going to see them. They're going to see you in the same order that we have you in the books.
Okay. So
Next.
someone's asking, I believe this may be another J question, is May 12th the absolute deadline to pick which monologues you were doing?
No.
May 12th is the final submission for people that are submitting to the audition itself.
But similarly to headshots, just remember the book will be completed, in the days prior to the event. So if we've put a monologue in for you and you decide the day before, oh, I'm going to change it, the previous one will be in there. You can announce to the auditors that you've changed this monologue, but you probably want to say, I'm changing this monologue to this. So that way they know, oh, okay. Otherwise they'll be like, wait, do we have the right person?
Yeah, so
What's
say the name of the previous monologue and what it's being changed to, and that will not be counted in your timing. That is part of we will consider that part of your slating.
Okay. Do we get 2 minutes for each monologue or 2 minutes for both?
2 minutes whole, and you divide them any way you want. It can be 1 minute and 1 minute, or it can be a minute and a half and 30 seconds. I just want you to have the best chance of solving people's problems by showing them two different aspects of what you can do.
Okay. Should we wear what we have in our headshot or just a generalized black shirt?
Tamara, what would you say? You're the casting person.
I would just say, hopefully your headshot looks as close to you as possible, but I don't necessarily need you in the same clothing. Like, yeah.
How about the black shirt? I mean, I'm just it doesn't.
It doesn't necessarily matter to me. Honestly, come as your very best self. How do you feel good? How do you like, this is your time. You get 2 minutes and it should be how you feel is your best. And then that's going to show through. If you're conscious about, oh my God, my black shirt, or that's too much to worry about. Worry about coming as you are at your best, because we're ready for you.
And that means don't come in a costume. We had somebody audition in a red bathrobe one year.
Yeah.
And the only thing anybody noticed about that audition was the red bathrobe.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need that for sure. Because I'll just give you like my little hint too. That slate and you being yourself is going to be equally important to us as is. And that's one of the benefits of still being able to slate and use that time too, that like we care about that. So
yeah, you don't have to like rush through your slate either, because we actually want like 5 seconds of you as a person before you go into it. Anything else? How do we get whose contact? How do we get their contact info? Whose contact? Okay, Sarah. What did this refer to? It was a while ago.
I think it was the coaches. It came right after the coaches question. They want to know, like, is there going to be like a list or somewhere to get people's information after this event?
Yeah, you can get it. You can get it from them. They're all going to give you their contact information here, we will also have their contact information available for. We'll have their emails at least available. By the way, just in case, just so you know, since my time is up, but what we're going to be putting you in, you're going to be going into breakout rooms. There is a chat in breakout room, but I want you to understand that the chat in that breakout room, you have to save it while you're in the breakout room. It's not going to be there later. It's not coming into this main room. So if there's some information in there that you think that you're going to need and that you get in the chat in the breakout room, write it down. Or I think you're able. Are they able to save it to their desktop?
I believe they are. It has 3 dots, and then you can just save that directly.
Okay. Let's see. Somebody's asking where the Dropbox is for the headshots, and you don't need to worry about that. You'll send it to us. We put it in the Dropbox. It's
Yeah,
our Dropbox account.
I messaged them about that.
Okay.
And someone's asking, must the resume be 1 page? Can it be longer?
Industry standard is 1 page. Can it be longer? Yeah, if you make it longer, it can be longer.
Since it's digital right now, it doesn't really matter. But obviously, we don't want a 10-page CV. So
the reason for the tradition of the 1 page resume is because it's usually stapled to the back of your headshot. So you don't want multiple pages stapled to the back. I mean, some people do it. It happens. It's done.
And I just saw someone say, use a tiny font. Don't.
No.
I don't want to have to be this close to read it.
I'd rather have 2 pages than a tiny.
I'd rather have 2 pages, yes.
Yeah. I see the time slot assignment. Time slot. I said it before, but I'll say it now. A time slot assignment will be given. We close for submissions on the 12th. We actually give a day grace period, so we start doing the scheduling on the 12th and 13th. It's a long, arduous process, and we make it. It's our goal to get you your slot 1 week prior to the audition itself. Sometimes we can do it sooner, but at that point, you know the day that it's going to be. If there's and also we're listening to anything you say in your application. We really do try to treat you like gold. If you say you prefer morning or prefer afternoon, we'll probably give you morning or afternoon. If you say it has to be a certain time, we'll give you that time. So if we make a mistake, then the week after we assign the time slots is when we fix the mistakes. So don't panic if you get a slot and it's like, oh, this isn't what I asked for. Yeah, okay, we goofed. So we'll change that for you. You will be, by the way, you will be put into groups of 10 to 12 for half-hour slots. This is something I should have said at the beginning as well. So it'll be 10 to 12. It won't be any more than 12. And you'll be a 1 o'clock, audition, or a 1 or 2 o'clock, or whatever it is. You will be seen in the order in which we have assigned you in the casting books, and at the end of each hour, by the way, the 11 o'clock slot is going to be a longer slot than the 11:30. 11:30, we're going to cut off 10 minutes for Zoom fatigue, so people can rest their eyes. So that's basically how it's going to be. So I think it's probably going to be 12 people in the 11 o'clock, the 00 slot, and 10 people in the 30s, in the 30s, the 11:30, the 30 slot, the half-hour slot.
We do have another question about the resume. Is there any specialized information that auditors would like us to add or highlight on a resume that isn't normally expected?
Tamara?
Nope. Just what you would normally submit is fine. Because it is a regular audition. So we're going to be looking for the same things we normally look for. So yeah.
Someone's asking about starting music for your song. Is that included in time?
I'm sorry, what was the question? Let me just say this to Emily. 10-point type is fine, although it depends on the typeface. Use your judgment. In Times New Roman, 10-point is a little small. It's bigger in the Arial, and it's actually very readable in Verdana. So it's going to depend on your typeface. Okay, what was the question, Jessie?
I'm sorry for any sound that might be behind me.
Oh, I think that you may have said this may be the question. I was going to talk to Tamara about this. I think that I want to. It's very important if you're going to be doing a musical audition and you're going to have an accompaniment track. Thank you, track. You need to have sufficient introduction on that track, so that you don't push a button and have to sing right away. So I think we're gonna extend the 2 minutes of the musical auditions by a couple seconds to give you a little bit of extra time to have a comfortable introduction into your song. And was that the question by any chance?
I believe that was the question, yes.
Oh, okay.
Good job, Bob.
We have another question. Do we know who's interested in us the day of, or would we most likely be waiting for them to contact us after the auditions?
Hugely important. This is so important. People are coming. Some have immediate casting needs. Some have long-term, like future casting needs. Some are building their books for the future productions that they're going to do. It's all going to be different from the different people, and you won't hear from them like immediately. Some people actually got calls that day and within 48 hours. You're going to the auditors are going to spend a little time thinking about this. They're going to look through the books. You will hear from people on an ongoing basis, based on past experience from this event, for up to 5 years.
I still call people from events from the past. I go to that book all the time.
Being in the TRU casting book is really great because there's like 50 companies that are using those books. They're like going back to them constantly. So don't necessarily expect to hear the day of, but some people may contact you immediately. Also remember that people are going to be casting virtually, and then some people may be planning for live productions later on. We don't know who's doing. Well, actually, we do know. We haven't actually. We have a questionnaire where Jessley has asked them those questions. And possibly, Jessley, maybe we could make a little web page that gives a summary of what everybody's plans are of the people that are auditioning. We normally don't give you that information until after the event. But if we can, we'll make it available so you know what people are planning on, what people are doing.
I think this year too, to keep in mind, is that a lot of people are looking for things, but they're not sure of their own needs because we don't know. Like I have goes on about 3 projects, but I actually don't know for sure if I'm allowed to open when I want to open. So keep in mind that this is a weird year too for everybody. Everybody's looking, everybody's planning, but we still have some big question marks in our own, like, can we really open? What does that look like? And so if you didn't hear right away, that does not mean anything in this year, especially, because I think that's realistic.
Okay, so I'm going to, if at all possible, I'm going to try to move to the next part of are there any absolutely crucial questions? Somebody visually raise your hand so that I can see you visually if there's something you absolutely have to know right now. And it's fine if there is something. I'm scrolling through to make sure I see everybody. Okay, Janie Steele.
Hi, Bob. When our turn is for the audition, we're just going to be seen like this. Is that how it's going to work, or we're just going to be on like we are right now?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have some tech consultations. That where my tech people, we have 3 different tech experts, including Tamara, who are going to basically give you suggestions to make yourself look best. We're looking for a neutral background, if at all possible. We would. It's better for you to be seen against like a plain wall,
Right.
rather than a room with furnishings. It just anything that keeps us focused on you, or
Okay.
anything that doesn't distract from you.
But we're not walking into, we're just on like right now.
Tamara, would you explain how that works? Because we're going to be moving you from one room to another.
Yeah, so you will go into a breakout room with everybody there. I think your question is are you going to see everybody else or not? Is that what your question is?
Are we, for our audition, when we're slating, like right now, you'll just see what we see right now? Is that correct?
Yeah, I would just see you because my screen will be set to like
this
speaker
much
view.
of us, this much of us.
Not necessarily that. I'm not sure if we're going to show the audience or not, because you will be in a room with just the producers and casting directors.
Okay.
So I think we still have some investigation on our end to do
Okay.
with that.
But
We will have you on a big screen, so we will really be focused on you. But
Okay.
whether you'll be able to see us, I think, is still a question mark.
Yeah, if we do, we're gonna. I would suggest that you still do speaker view so that you see yourself, because you want to be able to place yourself in your frame. You want to actually see where you are.
Right.
So, but if you're in speaker view, and if all the auditors have their video on, you're going to have a stream of at least 5 or 6 frames across the top, so you actually will be able to see some people. But I'm not sure whether we're going to keep them on or not. We may or may not. We haven't decided.
Okay. Thank you.
Hand raises, visual hand raises, of anything that hasn't been answered that is really, really a burning question. I'm not seeing any hands. Are you seeing any hands? Oh, wait. I see virtual hand raises.
Mary, Kate, and Andrew Hess.
Okay. So the virtual hand. Andrew.
This is more of a technical question. But should we have like a phone or like a recording device with our piano tracks like near the microphone for when we're singing? Like, I'm trying to think of the logistics of how that would work.
Yeah, generally you'll play it separately, but definitely come to the tech and we'll help you set yours up. So we'll help you go, you know what, that sounds better. And you'll get like ears on what's going to make you sound the very best. And we'll try it and make sure it's doable for you on your end and that it sounds great on our end.
Yeah, we're reluctant to make any broad statements about it until because it is individual. We'll just listen and tell you what sounds best. Mary Kate.
Hi. So when we're slating for our song, does it matter if we do song and show, or should we also name lyricist and music as well? Does it matter?
Song and show.
I think just song and show.
Song and show, I think, is fine. Yeah. You know what? No, because that drives me crazy. If I can't identify the writer, I go I lose the first 3 seconds of your presentation because I'm going, wait, who was that by? Who was that by? I think it wouldn't hurt to add Flaherty and I can't think of it. Yeah. Are we there yet? Because we have to.
We're there.
We have to do a little housekeeping before we can start opening up the rooms. I think that I want Tamara. Should we have people open up the breakout rooms window just to see what the setup is?
Well, they can't until I open the rooms. Let me do a little moving some things on my desk. Hold on.
But I don't want all the actors to go to rooms yet. I want the coaches to be comfortable first. We have to give them a little coaching so that they know how to what happens in their room. So what happens in their room stays in their room.
Just refresh my memory, Bob. Before we actually do these breakout rooms, we'll do a little instruction ahead of time. We're going to hear from everybody for their pitches in this main room.
Oh, that's right. We are.
Yeah.
So I'm jumping ahead. I'm so nervous about the breakout.
Let's do that first so people don't get lost in translation. And then what I will do is I will do a little mini Zoom lesson for anybody who's never done self-selected breakout rooms before. We'll let the coaches go first and get inside of their breakout rooms, and then we'll let everybody else go. Okay. How about that?
I was panicking for my coaches who were like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Listen, no one's going to get lost. We're going to help everybody out. So just let's go through the 4 minutes first and then do the instruction so it's closer to the time we're going to use it.
So I'm most if not all of the coaches actually want us to be able to see some faces. So keep your videos on if you don't mind, but just go into speaker view, and one at a time I'm going to start introducing the coaches to you, and they're going to have their 4 minutes. So Natalie, are you there? I want to make sure that you can you're available to time, or whether you would prefer if Jesley times.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can see you too.
Hello. I love that setup. The little tech geek in me is so excited to see that.
I figured you might as well see where I teach from if I'm going to talk about my teaching. So
Well, you know what? Why don't we start with you, and why don't Jessley? Why don't you do the 4 minute timing for us? Jessley,
should.
okay.
Yeah. Just because I've never done it before. Should I just time it on my phone once it gets to
Just
1
time it
minute?
on your phone. You have to open up your stopwatch and just time it.
Okay, sounds good.
So you know what, coaches, how am I going to do this? Let's introduce you one at a time, just so you say who you are. So Glenn Alterman, just come on and say hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm Glenn Alterman.
And what do you
Monologue
coach?
Audition. I'm a monologue audition coach.
Okay, Natalie.
hello, I'm Natalie. I'm voice and
Oh, wait a second. Somebody's got to mute you. Debbie Ford had to mute you. Make sure, actors, make sure you're all muted. Okay. So let's do that again. So where were we? We're at. Well, I've lost you. Nat.
Now, I don't know if y'all heard. Yes, I'm Natalie. I am a voices and vocal technique and music coach.
There we go. Alyssa Orapallo.
Hello, I'm Alyssa. I am also a voice teacher and music coach.
Thanks for being with us. Nice meeting you, by the way. Marishka Phillips.
Hi, my name is Marishka S Phillips, 15-year acting coach for drama, comedy, audition.
Okay. Annessa Marie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Annessa Marie. Pronouns are she, her, hers. And I am a music director, vocal coach, and then I also can coach your overall package as well.
Terrific. Thank you. Glad to see you. Benjamin Doyle.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Doyle. I'm a music coach, vocal coach, and an accompanist.
Good. Thanks for being here. Gillien Goll.
Hi, I'm an acting coach, an acting teacher. I've been at AMDA for over 19 years, so I'm used to working with singers as well. I also teach film acting, which I think is really important when we're auditioning on Zoom.
Okay, it is indeed. James Alexander, our photographer.
Hi, my name is James Alexander. I'm a performer, but I'm also a photographer. And I believe you have to be your own kind of beautiful. And you're already a star. You don't need to do anything but be your authentic self.
Okay, Stephanie Pope.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Pope Lofgren. Thrilled to see all of you. I'm a 35-year veteran of the Broadway stage, and I'll be coaching on your overall presentations, how you present yourself, walk in the room, do your audition, and leave the space as well.
Thanks, Stephanie. Tracy Stark.
Hi, I'm Tracy. I'm a piano player, music director. I can help you with getting your audition together. I've also coached the whole audition as well.
And you can do tracks.
And tracks, yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to follow this in the lineup here. Valerie Adami and Bob Kale, you're not in caps, so I missed you. So and I know I've got Zach Miller too. So Bob Kale, why don't you come on and say hi?
I'm Bob Kale. Hi. I am a casting director, teacher, coach, acting, monologues, musicals, keep cook, bottle washer, all that jazz.
And Bob works with Valerie Adami. So Valerie, come on in and say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Valerie Adami. I'm an agent with SW Artists. And for several decades, I ran an acting school called Weast Baron. And since then, I've teamed up with Bob. And in addition to my agenting, we coach actors on audition process. And we're a terrific team because I do a lot of film and television, and Bob does a lot of theater. So we give you the whole package, and we work across the board on your total presentation.
Thank you. And Zach Miller, I think you're the only one that I can find that I haven't seen yet.
Thanks, Bob. I'm Zach Miller. I'm a voice teacher, a general audition coach, and a song performance coach. So we're going to work on the full package for your auditions, both hitting your vocal technique and those storytelling skills.
Okay, did I miss anybody? Coaches were supposed to be all caps, which is how I was going to find you. So if I miss somebody, just say who you are. No? Okay. So you know what? Let's see. I said this to do this in speaker view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight Bob Kale and Valerie Adami. So I'll have you guys go first. Is that okay? Spotlight. Spotlight. So here's the duet. The duet, Valerie Adami and Bob Kale. So you have 4 minutes. Natalie, I know I was going to do you first, but I'll come back to you.
No worries. And I'll give you guys 1 minute, little heads up, just so you know.
Okay. Bob, unmute yourself.
Dear Lord, I'm so sorry. Did this eat into my time?
No, we'll start now.
I am now presently unmuted. I apologize. I'm a casting director, teacher, coach. Valerie and I both began as actors, so we've been on both sides of the table. We always look forward to TRU. We enjoy doing this project very, very much every year.
Now, the advantage we feel is that you're getting feedback from both an agent and a casting director. Actors are always asking us, what are you looking for? Well, first, we're looking for our personal needs, either for our roster or a casting director or a producer is looking for their specific needs. The only thing that's going to change our minds is your talent. That's what that's really the thing that will say, oh my God, we thought we wanted somebody older. We thought we wanted somebody younger. We have no more room for a white 25-year-old woman. But if you're really talented, that's what we will look at.
We also want you to feel comfortable in this audition and future auditions. What do you need? Are you happy with your selections? If you're not, we have a library full of selections. Do they show you off? And do they fit into your brand? Are you doing things that you're castable in?
Our goal is to guide you towards a successful audition. My colleague at SW, Sue Winnick, who represents Sue Winnick as SW, always says, book the room, not the audition. Try to make the casting director your friend, because the audition that you give will not just be about the job that is currently being cast, but also all other jobs going forward. So that's what you need to focus on. Is not, am I going to get a call? Is, did I give the best audition I possibly could?
Well said. We focus on the art and the business and how they both fit together, most especially in a presentation like this. Things like your appearance, the frame, your lighting, where you focus, and then the honesty and sincerity of your interpretation, which I'm very devoted to because of Sanford Meisner, who was my teacher for 4 years, and I was his assistant for a year. Valerie studied with a gentleman named Michael Shirtleff, who she can speak about now for a moment.
Oh, read the book. So much better than anything that I could say. But know that the material that you're going to be preparing for the TRU auditions, you're going to be using probably for the next year or two. So that's how important it is. You're going to have all this terrific material, especially suited for yourself, that is audition ready. Okay. And we have had a terrific success rate with the people that we've coached in the past. So many of them have gotten calls either from a manager or an agent or directly for a production.
And that's what we have to say. The pleasure to meet you all. Hope to hear from you.
Looking forward to talking to you all later.
And what I want to mention is that Valerie and Bob are giving one of the 2 virtual audition technique and protocol workshops that we're offering. One is next Saturday, and then Jamie Beth Margolis is going to be giving one Monday, next Monday, a week from Monday. Hers is the evening. Valerie and Bob are doing one in the afternoon on Saturday. We think it's a good idea for you to do one of the workshops. So let me just say that. Okay, so I'm going to remove Spotlight from you guys. Tamara, can you tell? I can't get to this the thing to remove. Oh, there it is. Remove Spotlight. Okay, so I got you. Next up is, as originally promised, Natalie Wilson, and Jesley. You'll watch the time on Natalie. Okay. Jesley, say something.
Yes, yeah, I'll watch.
Okay.
Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Zoom studio. I have been teaching in this space 5 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for well over a year. So I can assure you, if you haven't had voice lessons over Zoom yet, if that's something you've managed to not experience, I can promise you they're actually incredibly effective. All of my private students, as well as my students at Molloy College Cap 21, where I'm on faculty, as well as at Circle in the Square Theater School, where I'm also on faculty, have been able to make enormous progress. They're doing showcases, they're doing their final auditions. I'm doing a little private Zoom recital just for my own studio. So I can promise you that you can still get a lot out of this technological environment. And I know all of the ins and outs to make it work as well as possible for you. So if that's a concern for you, you can rest assured that it will work out great. How many people have done singing auditions before? Do we have a lot of singers in the group? Some actors, some singers. Cool. So for those of you who are singers, how often have you had the experience where you feel like the person that the auditors hear in the audition room is not the person that was in the practice room, like beforehand? Yeah, right. Sometimes it's good, better, and sometimes it's not better, right? And I think that vocal technique is really the thing that makes that consistency possible, so that you can deliver what you're doing in the practice room and what you're doing in your voice lessons when you get up in front of people that you're trying to get to hire you. Vocal technique allows you to understand how your instrument works, so that when you're trying to produce that big belt note, when you're trying to do that high mix, when you're trying to do that legit note, whatever you're doing, you actually understand what is going on in here, and you don't feel like you're shooting darts with a blindfold on, just hoping that that note comes out. So that's a lot of what I can provide for you in my studio. My method is I was an opera singer for over 15 years. I combine my bel canto background with modern voice science into how to do healthy belting, healthy pop rock techniques, so that you can actually produce those sounds 8 shows a week without having to damage your instrument or rely on steroids or anything terrible like that. So finding that healthy way to produce those sounds in all those different styles. I specialize in breath support. I feel like is one of my main things that I really bring to the table. I have a series of breathing exercises that I design that not only help to build your support, but also are great little nerve calmers for right before an audition. And I feel like my other specialty is really in developing the mix. And this applies to both female singers and male singers. So being able to figure out how to blend, not just constantly pushing that lower voice higher to try to get those high notes, but actually bringing the high voice down to help make those high notes easier. It's, you know, everything always feels like it's kind of at the extremes of the range, I think, in modern Broadway singing. So, so yeah, I see some faces. Yes. So that's what I feel like one of my specialties that I really focus on is having a really healthy, confident mix. So you feel like you can, again, deliver those money notes with ease and not straining.
You're at 1 minute.
Excellent. Perfect. One of the other little things that I do is I am a music theory teacher. That's what I teach actually primarily at Circle in the Square Theater School. So whether or not you need to learn music theory from me, I do bring a lot of that into voice lessons to help you understand what the music is doing for you to help you like interpret your song. So I will definitely bring some of that into the coaching as well. So there's the vocal technique side and some of the performative side that I like to bring in also. I've had students perform when Broadway was a thing, which it will be soon, hopefully. Had students in Hamilton, Hadestown, West Side Story, performing at regional companies all across the country. And yeah, I think that about sums it up. That's me. So I look forward to meeting some of you, and I hope you all have a great audition.
Thank you, Natalie. So let's move to let's bring on Annessa Marie, one of the people who actually can do the tracks for you if you need them.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Annessa Marie, a music director, vocal coach. I've actually been the accompanist for this audition event for How long, Bob? 4 or
Three or
5 years?
I think it was. It could be four or 5 years. It's hard to. It's hard to remember. I mean, we just lived through COVID.
Mhm. What is time? But I'm very familiar with what this audition specifically entails. I've also been an accompanist for SETC and similar auditions to this. And then I also work at NYU as a vocal coach and music director. I approach everything vocally from an acting standpoint. I am a trained actor in Meisner and Stanislavski technique. So any vocal choices that we make, I really believe have to be supported by your acting. And then I'll work with you to make sure the breath support is there. And all of the technique is there, so you're doing this as safely as possible. In these specific auditions, I like to think of this whole audition as a little play. So you have your opening, you have your monologue, you have a transition moment, a song, and then your closing. And I really like to work with you to make sure it's all connected and you don't have that high school moment where you're looking down or looking out into space to transition between your elements. Especially now, because we're in this virtual world, the game has changed a little bit. Throughout COVID, I've watched a lot of self-tapes. I've helped people just get their self-taping up to where it needs to be. So your lighting, your framing, what we're seeing from you, how you transition your audition to be in this film world, but be for theater as well, because they are two different things that are kind of married at the moment. The other thing that I do make tracks for you. So if you do have a coaching with me, I will actually include a track in your coaching price and send it to you beforehand, so you have that to work with during our coaching session. And that's really all I got for you. So I look forward to hearing from you.
Well, it sounds like a lot to me. So, all right. Well, okay, so let's move to let's meet Marishka Phillips.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Marishka S Phillips. I am a 15-year acting coach. I'm also a performer. I started professionally at the age of 13 in a European tour along with the performing arts group of Howard University. So I've been in theater all my life from my mom. I'm a backstage baby, and I landed on Broadway at the age of 19. So I do work with singers as well. My approach is actually a potpourri, shall we say, of many different teachers and directors and choreographers as mentors that I've worked with over these 40 years, without telling my age, over these 40 years of performing and acting myself. A little mix of Stanislavski, Uda. I come from the school of Susan Batson, which I was under her wing for about 9 years. And it's a spiritual approach, I would say. I believe that us as artists are of service. And we are gifted with, divine gifts and abilities and skills and dreams. And I believe we should gift back our recipients. And when I say a spiritual approach and of service, I always, when I tackle any text or monologue or meet with any actor, I not only find out what you have in common with the character, but it's about what you love about the character, what you love about the story, and what is it that you want to say to the world through this character. And that is really what puts you in the mode of service. I believe that characters find you for a reason. Like, not only do you give it life, but I think the character gives you something. And if you really commit to the process of standing the character up and making it a walking, talking, three-dimensional human being, that it also gives you something. Characters, if you really commit to it, they leave a residue. And, sometimes you want to be clear on what that residue is. And, I've played many characters, and I walk away and it takes a minute, you know, to shed that character, but I'm always trying to, and I work with awareness too. I'm always aware of the good stuff that the characters have given me that I walk away with and that I can actually apply to my, as I call it, civilian life, you know. So yeah, I also think storytelling is important, be it through dance, because dance is my first profession actually. And through dance, storytelling, singing, and acting, you know, it has to be really important. So I always wanna make sure that you're clear on what the character is trying to achieve in any given piece. Like, what is the mission? What is your super objective, if you will, your scene objective? 1 minute? Okay, great. And so, you know, that for me is like shooting a straight arrow at the target. When you draw that tension back and you release your energy forward, you got your fourth wall. I make sure your fourth wall is intact so that you know where your energy and your imagination is living in that room. And now that we're on Skype, you know, I make sure that your placement for your fourth wall is really super clear and your images that you work from. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mershka. Great to have you, and nice to meet you.
Thanks for the invitation.
I want to go to one of the musical coaches now, Alyssa Orapallo. By the way, coaches, if you have any kind of time requests, if you want to go next, if you want to go last, just private message me. I'm just doing this randomly.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alyssa, as I said earlier. I am a voice teacher based in New York City, where I'm actually on faculty with Natalie at Cap 21 and Malloy College. Hi, Natalie. Thanks for having me. It's nice to see so many of you here. Just a little bit about who I am and my background. I got my undergraduate degree in music education in instrumental music, so I also bring some of that music theory knowledge. If you need help cutting and splicing your music together, I'm happy to help with that. And then I moved to New York and went to the 2-year program at Cap 21, and I am still out there auditioning and performing and working in New York City and regionally. So I think that's something special that I bring to the table, is that I also am out there auditioning and doing the thing that all of you are doing. So I know what that feels like. And I think that something that's really cool about taking lessons online is being able to work in a space you're comfortable in, but B, a space that you're most likely also going to be doing your audition from. So I think that there's a lot to be gained from working online. A little bit about my favorite things to teach. I do specialize in teaching musical theater, even though I come from a classical background. I love working on developing a legit soprano sound, if that's what you're looking for. But my absolute favorite thing to teach is high belting. If you want to figure out how to make those sounds that the Mean Girls score requires you to make, I'm more than happy to help you do that in a really healthy way that is sustainable. I believe wholeheartedly that you need to be able to speak it before you can sing it. That's a lot of the way I work, is in call and response. And I also work a lot with visual imagery and kinesthetically as well, to help you find technique that feels accessible no matter what's happening nerve-wise or anything like that. And yeah, so I think the biggest thing I want to say is that I really believe in sustainable, healthy singing. And I think that that is possible regardless of what style you're in. So even in those pop rock sounds that are we're hearing so much on the radio and on the stage today, I think there are ways to make those sounds in a way that's sustainable and healthy for the voice. So yeah, it's nice to meet you all, and I think that's all I have.
Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks for being with us. I appreciate it. Let's move to Stephanie Pope.
Let me unmute myself. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephanie Pope Lofgren. I am thrilled. I didn't put that in, that it would be too long to put it in there. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to see all of this diversity in the room. I am primarily, I want to tell you about myself, a dancer, singer, actor, voice artist, emerging producer, a presentation coach. I'm a certified Bikram yoga instructor. I started working on Broadway over 35 years ago. My first union job, equity job, was at the age of 19. So I have a vast amount of experience on stage and also auditioning, right? I know what this process is. And what I want to bring to all of you is understanding that you don't really get the job necessarily solely by your performance, right? A lot has to do with how you present yourself coming into the space. We know that the space these days is very different because it's an online platform, but there's still a way to enter into the room, remembering to unmute yourself, you know, all these little details, right, that make a difference in how you're perceived to those who are watching. So that's really, you know, what I have to offer all of you. I worked many of the shows that I worked in. I worked with Bob Fosse, and he came from a Meisner background, and so I studied Meisner technique for several years in Los Angeles, and also when I came to New York, and all those elements of the Meisner approach I bring to what I share with you, the power in stillness, right? Don't just do something, stand there, and living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. Those things that kind of hone in a performance and help you to stand out when you're in a room, when you're in a space, again, whether it's on stage or in an audition room. That's what I can share with you. I share with you my experience. I've done presentation coaching for theater groups, the Gulf Shore Playhouse in Florida, and also at Goodspeed, and various theaters where they've asked me to come in and just kind of work with young actors on their overall presentation skills. So after you've had the opportunity to work with all these wonderful coaches, then if you want to come to me for some sort of fine tuning and polishing, you know, the edges, how you enter and even how you exit the room, how you leave the room after you've done your performance. What happens then, right? Do you say something? Do you not say something? How do you leave the room? I think that's just as important. And because you know they're going to talk about you after you leave the room, right? So you got to leave them with a good impression. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I've worked with amazing performers and directors, everyone from George C. Wolfe to Jerry Zaks, performers from Gregory Hines to Cheetah Rivera and Ben Vereen, and, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And I was made sure that I was always a fly on the wall, sort of absorbing and watching and learning as much as I can from each one of these amazing people that I've had the opportunity to work with. And so those experiences I can share with you as well. So, that is pretty much it. I left my information in the chat, but again, as we go into the breakout rooms, I'm happy to obviously give you more information if you'd like to spend some time with me. And that's it.
And yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie's one of my pals. I'm so glad I know her. So basically, in other situations, you would be able to ask questions right now. But that's what we're going to do the breakout rooms for. That's going to be your opportunity to go into rooms, and any questions that came up with anybody that's presenting right now, you get to ask them.
So what happened to Glenn Alterman? I'd love to hear from him.
I haven't ended yet. There's 6 more people.
I'm sorry. I was going, what?
No, there's six more people. I was going to bring on an accompanist, but I will bring you on, Glenn Alterman. Come on in.
Help! That's the feeling we all have when we start an audition. We go to an audition and it's like, oh my God, it's now. Right now, what I'm thinking is I have 4 minutes to put 30 years worth of work into this picture right here. I feel like I'm at the Kentucky Derby. I feel like we're running the race. I started out as an actor. I worked on soaps. I worked in regional theater. I studied with the best teachers probably around, Stella Adler, Wynne Hammond, Terry Schreiber, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. I loved studying. It was at Wynne Hammond's. I just couldn't find a monologue. I was looking, couldn't find it. So I did something really crazy. I wrote my own monologue. I'd never done that before. I brought it to class. Everybody loved this monologue. Long story short, I was writing 5, 6 monologues every week in Wynn's class. Long story short, a year later, I had over 100 monologues. Long story short, I had my first book, Street Talk. That began a whole new career. That one monologue, had I not written that monologue, I'd still be just an actor, and there's nothing wrong with being just an actor. Since then, a lot of you know me from my books. I've written 30 books, theater-related books, An Actor's Guide, Making It in New York City, The Perfect Audition Monologue, Street Talk, Glenn Alterman's Secrets to Successful Cold Readings. And basically, I was writing and writing all these books, and then I decided to write a 10-minute play. 10-minute play. All of a sudden, I'm doing all these other things now. I'm writing all these plays. Next thing, I win the Arts and Letters Award in Drama. So now I'm a playwright. So all this is going around to say something. I was an actor. I wrote all these monologues. I know how actors think. When I work on a monologue with an actor, when I work on a play with an actor, I come from 35 years worth of theater, 35 years of writing plays, 35 years of writing books. I don't approach a monologue as just a monologue. I approach it as an actor and as a playwright. So I come from two places. When you come in with your audition pieces for film and TV, I have two approaches. I started as an actor with you, and then I bring in the playwright who can break it down and help you figure out what was that writer trying to get across? What is it that you need to present? I had to take notes because I couldn't get all this in an hour. So I started 30 years ago. Since then, I've taught acting and monologues at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London, the Governor's School for the Arts, the School for Film and TV, the Boston Public Schools. I've been teaching a long time. I love teaching. I love actors. There's a number of people right in this space right now that are my former students. I just want to say hi to you guys. It's great seeing you. Hey, nice seeing you. I love actors. I love being an actor. I love what actors can do. I love what actors feel, and the pain and the love and the beauty. And my job is to just say, it's okay, and we can get through this. So when I approach, also one of the other things, from all my books, I've written over 1,000 monologues. I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most original monologues for actors. But when I work on monologues from other people's plays, which is mostly what I do, again, I approach it as a playwright. I approach it as an actor. We start off very simply, the same exercise you do for working on a play. We break it down. What's going on? What do you want? If aside from the monologues, if you bring in a scene, what's going on in the scene? I want it to be exciting. I want you to bring that energy in the room. One comment that I wanted to make is,
So
1 minute?
that actually, I mean, I don't know if you heard me the minute ago. So that's actually the 4. So if you can wrap it up that way.
Okay, so basically I've kind of said everything else. Oh yeah, I just became a casting director. I'm casting a pilot. I just got this job last week, and it's for a new TV series. So I guess I feel like a type A personality today. I guess that's what I'm coming across as, but I just try to get a lot in a very short period of time. Thank you, Natalie.
Well, you'll have lots of time to talk to people.
Right, I just wanted to go there. Phew.
Okay, you did it. You did it. And now for something entirely different. Photographer James Alexander, tell us a little bit more. You started to tell us about yourself before. Now fill it in for us.
Hello. Well, I'm so glad you got that out, Glenn.
Oh, thank you.
It was just boiling up inside of you. My name is James Edward Alexander, and I still see Glenn on the screen.
Oh.
Hi, Glenn.
Did you not see me? Oh, God.
My name is James Edward Alexander. I'm a headshot photographer. I'm also a performer. And I believe that everyone has their own kind of beauty. I hear people come up to me all the time and say, oh, I'm horrible in front of the camera. Oh, I'm so ugly. I can't do this. And my approach to photography is, first of all, we're all stars already. The only difference between us and, Meryl Streep and all these big stars is that they have exposure. And I think the important thing is when you come from an organic space, my approach is to make you feel comfortable. So that way, when you're sitting in front of the camera, it's literally a conversation between the two of us and letting your light shine. We usually have a consultation beforehand just to see, some of the things you like, some of the things that excite you, a little bit about yourself. You get to know a little bit about me. And it's very important that when you're with a photographer, that you feel comfortable. If you feel uneasy or like you can't ask a question, it's usually not a good vibe. I'm a little bit of an empath, and I feel that it's important that we connect that way. And the rest of it is basically you come in, we talk about what you're going to wear, how you see yourself, how are you cast, how your agents see you. And there are so many people I know who are character actors and they want to be principal actors. There are so many different characters in the business. Everybody doesn't have to be outside physically beautiful, because I feel if you're beautiful on the inside, the eyes are the window to the soul. And what I do is dig down into there, because a great picture, the difference between a great picture is someone looking at the camera like this and someone looking at the camera like this. All of a sudden I pull you in. And I also have COVID procedures, with what's going on right now. So, before you come in, I have a special for you guys in this program, which is $250 for an hour and a half, because sometimes it takes a little longer to get comfortable. Of a shoot, you get one retouch and one look. And that's basically, I'm also a performer, like I said before. I do TV, film, but what I've been doing when I'm not doing that is photography. I've been very blessed to be able to photograph some amazing people in the business, Stephanie Pope being one of them. And she also didn't mention, not only is she a performer, but if you look into her history, she's created many roles on Broadway that she'll be auditioning for, and she's in the original cast, with that being said. So that's basically, I come from an organic point of view when I'm dealing with a client, and we get to know each other a little bit. And you come in, like I said, we talk about what you're gonna wear and your presentation. And that's basically what it is.
Unmute myself. Okay, thanks, James. And people will come and see you later as well. Let's see. I think we should do another accompanist. How about Ben Doyle?
All right, cool. Hi, I'm Benjamin Doyle. I'm a Connecticut-based music director and musician. I do a lot of work accompanying auditions around. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I do a lot of work accompanying auditions around Connecticut, occasionally in the city, not so much in the last year. I music direct all over the state. I recently did music direction and orchestrations for TRU Speak's short online musical, Virtual Happy Hour. My educational background's in composition and audio, and in that capacity, I'm happy to help with recording. I'm happy to make recordings and help format. I would help format scores or transcribe normally, but you don't need sheet music for these this year. As a music director, I'm also happy to coach interpretation, help break down songs and stuff like that. That's pretty much it. Mine's pretty short.
That was very, very short and to the point. But people will come meet you. I have to say that Benjamin did an amazing job with Virtual Happy Hour. You don't necessarily need post-production editing, but I've got to tell you, if you're ever in a situation where you're have to record more than one voice, whether you're doing a duet or a trio with somebody in some sort of context, Ben is fabulous at taking those recordings, coordinating everything and putting it all together and mixing it and also coordinating it with the video. So, but for this, he's here because he can do your piano track and he can coach you, and that's what you need. So thank you, Ben. Now let me go through the list and see who Just so the coaches know, I'm really doing this randomly. I'm actually scrolling through and looking for the all caps. I'm looking for the all caps. I see an all cap. I see Gillien Goll.
I'm here.
I'm going to actually start spotlighting people for the people that are using that. So, okay.
And I'm not good at tech, but I want to, where are those three little dots so I don't have to look at myself?
If you go to gallery view.
Oh, and just do it that way.
Yeah.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, so you can tell I'm not the most technically efficient. However, I have been teaching a lot on Zoom this past year, as I suppose everyone else has. I'm an acting coach. My background is also, am still an actor, and I've worked in every medium. Started out in theater, wound up doing a lot of television. I'm also have a degree in directing. I've also written my first short film that was shot, trying to raise money to do another. So that's a little bit about me. I actually had monologue phobia for a number of years, and trying to figure out where that came from and what to do about it, I realized part of the problem was I didn't know how to create a first moment. And the reason, going back to when I started, I thought I started in high school, as many of you do. And in high school, I was very intuitive as an actor. I trusted myself. I didn't second guess myself. I didn't watch myself. I was in the moment. I was doing all the things that it took me years to get back to. And part of the reason that happened was I was finding acting teachers who weren't the right ones for me. And I think that that's really important, that not every teacher is the right teacher for every actor. And I think it's great that we have so many people here that you can talk to and you can find out, who do I relate to? Who seems like the best person? Who's going to want to intuitively work the way I work? So because I wasn't knowing how to do anything, I wound up getting a master's in directing, figuring, well, at least I'll know how to direct me. And that's what I did. And I was still floundering as an actor, trying to get back to that intuitive, creative person I started out being. And I met a great acting teacher for me, and his name was Daryl Hickman. And he said, forget about all that. What do you feel? Because whatever you're feeling is valid if you made the situation real to yourself. And I realized that as a child, that's what we do. You know, if you're a little kid and you're playing a game, you're like totally into the game. And then your mother calls you for dinner in the days when you could open a window and call for a kid. And then you could drop it and go back and be you. But we as children have that very incredible ability to just believe where we are. So one of the things I started thinking about was, okay, if I make the situation real to me, whatever I feel is okay, then I no longer have to be questioning myself. What am I feeling? Am I feeling the right thing? Am I going for this result? Because the teacher told me I should be angry and I'm not feeling angry, I'm feeling sad. And it got rid of all of that head stuff, but I still had the ability to read a script, to understand a script, to understand who my character was. And then the next step I had to do, which connected the dots for me, was to figure out, how do I now make the situation of the script real to me? And I found for me—
1 minute, Gillien.
Thank you. That was working through the imagination. And again, that's what I did as a kid. So for me, I use what I would call creative visualizations, taking the actor through visualizations of almost like a meditation, but a visualization with their eyes closed, telling them what's happening. Here's what's happening in the script. Your character's doing this, your character's doing that. What do you think about this? What are you seeing here? And taking the actor through a process of making the script totally real to them. So at that point, when they start the monologue, they're in the moment because they've made it real to themselves. They can then forget all the technical stuff and just be, and just trust themselves, because acting is being.
Perfect timing.
Thank you, Gillien. Gillien's a very good friend, so I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for being here. So I have to remove the spotlight from you. And Tracy Stark, why don't we meet you now?
Yes, you can hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Hi, I'm Tracy. I'm a piano player, a music director, arranger, producer. I've been playing for singers for my living for about 40 years in every kind of situation imaginable. And I've been doing this event for about 15 years, I believe, although I have no sense of time. So it could be 20, could be 10.
It's been a long time. You and Annessa are like my two go-to accompanists for this event over the past 15, 20 years. Yes.
Yeah. So my approach is to basically meet you wherever you need to be met. If you want me to narrow down your choices, if you want me to do your cut, the cut of your audition, figure out the key, help with the interpretation. In the past, when I have a full session with people, we go through the whole audition as well. So I can see everything that you're doing, and I can, you have a third eye to let you know what's going on and what my intuition is telling me about what you need to do. And that last 5 seconds, how much time you need in between everything, the transition, the arc of the whole situation. And some people don't want that, some people do. If you want that kind of help, then great. If you just need a piano track, get your piano track, a high quality. I believe just in everybody who's all the accompanists and all the people who are doing the tracks, I think they're all great and of high quality, and they'll get you high quality tracks. So I don't think you can lose in any choice that you make. And that's it. I'm good.
Well, thank you. Tracy is another good friend. I'm so happy to see my friends here today. I think that brings us to Zach Miller. And Zach, you're going last because your first name starts with Z.
Hey. Yeah, I started to piece that one together after I was like, oh, Zach is definitely at the end of the alphabet. Thanks for having me, Bob. I'm so thrilled to be joining you guys on the Zoom. My name again is Zach Miller, and I'm here to present myself as a vocal technique teacher and a song performance coach for you. So what that means is for your musical theater auditions or your pop rock auditions, I'm going to work with you both from a technical point of view, but also work storytelling and song performance skills. A little bit of background. I live in Jersey City. I've been here for 3.5 years, and I absolutely love it. If anyone else is from the Dirty Jers. Not seeing any hands. That's okay. That's fine. A bit about my background in performing. I got started at Penn State University. I got my undergrad in musical theater. And while I was getting my degree in musical theater, I grew this fascination for the voice and how it works. And I just wanted to take as many vocal anatomy classes and independent studies with the esteemed musical theater and classical voice teachers that were there. So I developed my own studio and I taught in front of those teachers, and then that was it for me. That was that kind of set me on my path. As a performer, when I graduated, I've worked in anywhere from Broadway national tours to cruise ships. I've worked a lot regionally throughout the country as well. And I'm a part of 2 groups. Put that back to gallery view. I'm a part of two vocal groups. One is called the Flyboys and the other one is called NYC3. And we basically tour the country on land and sea, singing a wide variety of pop rock music with a twist. In addition to my private studio, I also work for a company called MT College Auditions, which is basically the go-to global company for anyone who's pursuing musical theater, acting, vocal performance at the collegiate or graduate level. So as a performer myself, I know how challenging it can be to go into the audition room and just get out of your head, let loose, and sing. I find that that is most easily accomplished by becoming a confident singer. In order to develop confidence, I'm here to teach all of my singers technique and a voice vocabulary and knowledge that is easily applied to you. So basically, I'm here to make geeky vocal technique talk fun and easy to digest. I have a lot of new singers that come into my studio and they throw these big words around that they know, that they're familiar with, like alignment, airflow, breath support, resonance, registration, but not necessarily how to apply that to their own voice and to their own unique voice. So that's what I'm here to do, to make that to make the anatomy and physiological adjustments easy to understand. I'm going to help you develop your own fully energized, balanced, and supported sound. The areas that I love to specialize in, as my fellow peers, are high belt. I love to develop the mixed voice as well. And I'm going to do this through a series of technical and also artistic feedback. So anything from imagery to body awareness. I love to eliminate the gaps in the voice. So if you've ever been a singer and you get this piece and it's really challenging and you feel like you hit a wall, we're going to want to break through that and feel like we have a connection from the bottom to the top. So it's all one mixed blended voice. We're going to tackle breath support. Sorry, Natalie, was that 1 minute?
That was 1 minute. Yep.
Thank you. We're going to tackle breath support and anchoring and understand that singing is a full body sport, right? We don't want to just sing from the throat. We want to use our entire body. I'm also going to give you some healthy singing, like warming up and down, vocal resets throughout the day, and to understand that hydration is a lifestyle, not a day of precaution. As a song performance coach, I'm going to help you understand how your voice is your most powerful tool as an actor. So we'll work on moment-to-moment storytelling and song performance to serve your acting intentions. I love working with active, working MT and pop rock professionals. I love my straight actors and dancers who come to me who just want to feel comfortable in an audition if they're asked to sing. So that's not like the scariest thing in the world. And my non-professionals who are brand new to singing, who I can build a foundation from the ground up. So if you've never tried voice lessons before, whether it's because you're too scared or feel like it might not be worth it, I can provide that foundation for you and simple understanding of your voice so you understand how it works and get that confidence. And then from a song performance coach, I'm going to help build your storytelling skills to make you a strong performer. So we're going to talk about things like building circumstances for your song that are exciting and easily playable, making acting choices simple, honest, and right. Thanks, guys.
Unmute. There I am. Okay, thank you. Did I miss anybody? Because I'm basically going by the participants list, and somebody say something if I missed you. Tamara, I would like to give this over to you for a moment because you're going to set up the breakout rooms, and I think that the coaches all want a little bit of coaching on what they need to. Well, not all of them. Some of them are okay with it, but some of them want to know, what the hell do I do?
All right. So if anybody has ever been, Zoom has lots of different ways to do breakout rooms. A lot of times we just suck you into a room or we have you choose a room, join room, but they have a new feature, which I love, called self-selected breakout rooms. So I'm going to open up a bunch of breakout rooms and each coach has their own room. And I will kind of show you what that looks like. We'll kind of walk through it. We'll let the coaches find themselves. Right now, every single coach has their own room. And then there's also 10 private rooms. So if there's a conversation that needs to be had that is private, then, you know, a coach can say, hey, meet me in private room 10, and you can hop into that room briefly. If a coach is not in a room, they'll be back there, you know, so you can, this will allow the actors to kind of wander in and out wherever they see fit and ask their question to, you know, to the coach with other people in the room. And if there's something private that they need to talk about, they'll just tell the coach and the coach will kind of direct them where they want to go. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to open up these breakout rooms and I'm going to give a little instruction to everybody. And then we'll let the coaches go and find their room first before we send actors to them. So if you look
everybody, I was going to say, everybody, if you see that says breakout rooms at the bottom of your navigation
Yep,
bar.
I'm getting there. Let me do it, please. Thank you. So at the bottom, there's a little screen, a little 4 window pane. For some people, it is not 4 window panes. It is actually just a blank spot if you're on like an iPad, and you just have to kind of put your cursor over the black space and you'll see breakout rooms. And if you click on that, you will see that there's a list of a bunch of unassigned people, and you go to the bottom and you'll see everybody has their own their own breakout room, right? So the coaches will be able to go into that breakout room. The way
just I want to let you know that you actually misspelled Glenn Alterman's name. So
I was getting to that as well. So if anybody is misspelled, you just let me know and I'll check it. If your name is not there, coaches, please let me know and I will create a name for you. All of that we will fix any problems. But I want to make sure everybody knows how to get into rooms, and I want coaches to be able to go there before actors, please, so we can make sure the coaches can get there. So when you click on that room link, or the breakout room box, you'll get a big menu, and next to the person's name will either be a little number that tells you how many people are in there, and if you slide your cursor over it, it lets you join. Don't do that now. Or there may just be a blank space. It's kind of different on different devices. We've done this with lots of different people. So what you'll be able to do, actors, is you'll be able to just go from room to room. Once you're inside of a room, you can actually jump directly to another room if you like. If you want to leave the rooms and you need some assistance, you need to come back here to me or to Bob, you just click at the bottom when you're in a room, it says leave room, and it'll give you the option to leave room or leave a meeting. You just want to leave the room. You don't want to leave the meeting. But if you do leave the meeting, you just log back in and we'll put you back into the system. So are there any questions about how these kind of breakout rooms work? I know not everybody's used them before, but they're actually pretty intuitive and kind of fun once you get going. So are there any questions about the rooms themselves?
I got a question. So we just join the room. We could just join the rooms and then join into another room.
Yep, you get it's I kind of think of it like being at a big party. Once you open the door to the big party, you can go from room to room. What I will tell you is this: just like a big party with this many people, if you were trying to get to the bathroom and there'd be people in your way, it might take you a little bit to get there. So when you go to select a room, it might take like a second or two. It may not happen instantly. And that's just because of the traffic of people getting there. So if you really think of it just like you're going to a party and you're trying to get from one place to another, then people get in the way. So just like understand we're here for you. We'll help you out wherever we can. But it just sometimes especially in that first move, when people are just getting in, there's a little bit of traffic. So the question that I see in the chat of when you put something in the chat room, it only goes to that room. That is correct. Once you are inside each of those chat rooms is individual to that room and no one else sees it, including the big room, just people in that chat at that moment. So if there's something in the chat, someone answers you and you need it, you need to save it to your computer because you won't see it again, even if you went back and forth. Any other questions? Let me see. So
hi, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I had to go out and run errands, but I have my cell phone. But I wanted to know how long you guys are going to be online.
That is a good question. Bob, I defer that to you.
So my hope, actually, I'm going to put my video on so you actually can see me. My hope is that the coaches will stay until everybody gets to see them. If a coach has to leave at 4:30 or 4:45, tell us now so that people will be able to plan to see you earlier rather than later. So just say it. Just state it if you need to. And anybody need to leave on the dot of 4:30 or the dot of 4:45. Gillien Goll has to leave at 4:45. So if you want to meet Gillien, don't save her for the very end.
And Annessa got popped out, but she'll be back. So if her room is empty for a few minutes, just keep looking for her. She'll be back.
Actually, Annessa has a 15-minute meeting, so she's not going to be back for 15 minutes, but she will be there.
Right,
So,
but she jumped out a few minutes earlier, so she's
Okay.
already been gone for a while. I was counting that.
I just want to I want to let you know that Bob Kale's room should be Bob Kale and Valerie Adami. Just so people will understand that Valerie.
That's
and Bob
fine.
are together.
I texted you earlier, so I'm going to close out these rooms so I can make some changes to them. But now that you have seen them,
Okay, Tracy Stark says that she also has to leave a little early, so don't wait until the end to see Tracy.
Thank you.
And so talk amongst yourselves, I guess.
Give me one moment.
We're just on hold for about 2 or 3 minutes. By the way, guys, you can also go and if you and a friend want to catch up and you have the time, you can go into a private room and with your friend and just talk to each other. So basically, like I said earlier, one of the things about TRU that we try to promote is community. Welcome to a family. I think I'd like you to know that you're part of our family now.
Glenn, I have fixed your typo. Valerie and Bob, I put you in the same room. Were there any other changes that I needed to make to these rooms before I reopen them and let us all go wander amongst ourselves?
I'm still seeing Glenn as GEL, and I guess it doesn't really matter.
Of course you would, because the rooms have been closed, and so no one else can see that except you, Bob, because you're the host.
Oh, okay.
But
We're also being asked if there's going to be a 10-minute break. That was originally part of the schedule, and people wanting that.
Oh, okay. What can we do 5 minutes, guys? I mean, if you need 10 minutes, take a break if you need it. If the coaches are there and are able to see you, then you can see them now. Or
I am not in my room yet, and I no longer see the.
You do not. I closed out the room, Stephanie.
Oh,
so I could do a little maintenance in the back.
Let me in.
I know. All right. So
I'm banging on the door.
So here's the thing. It's like a big party. I'm gonna go ahead and open all of the rooms. We're gonna let the coaches who want to break, whoever needs to break can break. And whoever wants to be in a room can be in a room. You, as the participants, will be able to see who's available, how many people are in the room, who's in the room. If you don't want to be in there with someone else, I don't know. And then there's private rooms available. So we can go ahead and honor both. We can open the rooms for the people who are going to leave early or whatever, and we can also let people take a break. If you see that a coach isn't in their room, we can assume they're either meeting with someone else privately or that they're going to be back shortly, and you as the participant can decide, do I want to wait in an empty room for them and just talk amongst myself, or do I want to go into another room while I'm waiting?
Okay, so I can take a little bathroom break right now then, right?
You can take a little bathroom break right now.
Daddy been sitting here a long time.
I know, it's a long time to be Zooming.
It's
But
okay. I'm good with it.
We've got 85 people here, so someone will want to chat with each other. We'll just open up the rooms like a big party, and you go find your room when you get a chance.
I need 4 minutes. I'll be good. Thank you.
Excellent. So if everything else...
I'll take a 5-2.
That's great. Everyone should take the break that they need. I'm just going to open the rooms in case people want to go and chat amongst themselves.